Darren was just a technician. He worked on the alien research station called LunarBond, floating quietly above a red dwarf star. His job was not exciting. He fixed wires, changed filters, and checked cooling systems. He liked silence. He liked machines more than people. Even the aliens around him didn't bother him. He kept his head down and did what he was told. One evening, after his shift, Darren was called to Lab 6. The message said a coolant pipe had cracked, and there was a small leak. Lab 6 was far from the human sections. It was part of the alien research wing, where only a few scientists worked. He arrived with his toolkit, wearing his safety gear. The lab was clean, bright, and full of strange machines with glowing panels. There were long glass tubes, strange symbols on the walls, and soft humming sounds coming from the walls. As he moved toward the damaged pipe, someone stepped out from behind a console. It was Mira. Mira was one of the alien scientists young by her people's standards. She had pale blue skin, large silver eyes, and moved like a shadow. She had spoken to him only once before, asking for a tool in broken English. She looked nervous now. "Oh, sorry," she said, her voice soft. "I thought you were one of us." "I got the call," Darren said, holding up his toolkit. "Pipe leak?" "Yes, over there." She pointed quickly. "I was working on something else. Be careful near the red table." He nodded and walked to the pipe. It was hissing lightly. He crouched, pulling out a clamp from his bag. As he leaned closer, he felt a sting on the back of his neck, like a needle. He jerked up. "Out with the—" Mira's face turned white. Her hand was holding a small injector. "I didn't know it was you," she whispered. Darren touched his neck. "What did you just do?" She stepped back, eyes wide. "I thought you were my assistant. I was supposed to inject her, not you." "You injected me with something." "Yes," she said, her voice shaking. "It was for a test, for my species. It's not made for humans." Darren's chest tightened. "What is it?" "I can't explain. Not here." She looked around like someone might be watching. "I need to get you out of here. I need to report this." "No, you can't, please. If anyone finds out, they will remove you from the station. Maybe worse." Darren stared at her. His neck still burned. His heart was beating faster. He didn't know what she had put into him, but he knew it was serious. Mira grabbed his arm. "Come. I'll help you. I will fix this." Against his better judgment, Darren followed her. She took him through a side hallway, away from cameras. They moved down into a storage level where few people ever went. They entered a quiet room full of old chairs and broken parts. Mira shut the door and scanned it with her wristband. The lock clicked. "I'm sorry," she said again. "I didn't mean to. It was a mistake." Darren sat down slowly. "What was in that shot?" "It's a formula, made from old genetic patterns. It's not dangerous to us. But humans, your body may react differently. I need a doctor." "No, if you go to them, they will know what I was working on. They will shut everything down, and they will not treat you. They will erase the mistake." Darren didn't understand everything she was saying, but he could see fear in her eyes. She was more afraid of being discovered than anything else. "I already feel strange," he said. "How?" "I can hear more. The hum in the wall. I never noticed it before. My head feels clear." Mira looked shocked. "It's working." "What?" She sat down across from him. "There's an old story among my people that one day a chosen subject would appear, someone whose body accepts the old formula, even though it was never meant for them." Darren frowned. "That sounds like a myth." "I thought so too. Until now." "Are you saying I'm this chosen person?" "I don't know. But the machine we built, the one linked to the old data, it only responds to a subject who survives the first dose. You are still alive. You are feeling stronger." Darren stood up. He didn't want to believe her, but something inside him was changing. He could feel it. His thoughts were faster. His muscles felt tight, charged. He looked at his hands. Nothing had changed on the outside, but inside, something had shifted. "Why were you doing this?" he asked. Mira looked away. "Our people are losing something. Our minds are sharp, but our bodies are weak. Long ago, the ancients made something to restore us. I was trying to finish their work. And now I'm your mistake. She shook her head. No, you are my subject now. My responsibility. And no one must know. Darren sighed. His life had been simple, quiet. Now he was hiding in a supply room with a nervous alien scientist who had just injected him with something unknown. What happens next? You rest. I'll check your health every few hours. If anything changes, we will adjust, and if someone asks where I am, I told them you left after the repair. I'll cover for you. He leaned back against the cold wall. This is crazy. Mira nodded. Yes. But sometimes the most important things start with mistakes. Darren closed his eyes for a moment. He didn't know what was inside him now, but he knew one thing: his life was no longer normal. Darren woke up on a narrow bed in his own room. The lights were dim, and the quiet hum of the space station floated around him for a few seconds. He thought maybe the injection had just been a strange dream, but when he sat up, he felt it. His body was different, stronger. Lighter. He stood without effort. His legs didn't ache like before. His back wasn't stiff like it usually was after long hours of work. He walked to the mirror on the wall and looked at himself. Nothing had changed on the outside. Same brown eyes, short black hair, plain face. But inside, he felt like a machine had been switched on. He touched the back of his neck where Mira had injected him. It was smooth now. No mark, no pain. Then he looked around his room and saw something else's toolbox in the corner. Something about it felt strange, like he could remember every tool inside, where he last placed each one, and even the angle of the wrench he had used 3 days ago. His memory had never been that sharp before. His communicator beeped. A message blinked. From Mira. Are you awake? Please answer. He pressed the reply button. I'm up. I feel strange. Mira. Strange how? Are you in pain? No pain, just sharper. Like my brain is faster. She replied instantly. Mira, I'm coming. Please stay inside. Don't talk to anyone yet. A few minutes later, she arrived at his door. She had changed into a gray research coat and carried a small scanner in her hand. You look normal, she said, scanning him from head to toe. I don't feel normal, Darren replied. Everything is clear. I can remember things I shouldn't. Even the air feels different. Mira looked at her scanner and frowned. Your heart rate is steady. Nerve activity is rising. Your blood cells are reacting faster than before. Is that good? It's not dangerous. But it's not natural either. Darren sat on the edge of the bed. I don't know what to do. Should I be worried? Mira hesitated, then sat across from him. You're not just reacting to the serum. You're adapting to it. That was never expected. No human should be able to process it. Not even close. He stared at her. So what does it mean? It means your body is not like others. Maybe the stories about the chosen subject were not myths after all. Maybe they were warnings or a plan. Darren shook his head. I'm just a technician. I fix pipes and broken screens. I don't want to be anyone's subject. I know, she said quietly. But the truth is, you are now part of something bigger. And if the others find out, they will not understand. They might see you as a threat. Darren looked away. He didn't ask for this. He didn't want powers or secrets. All he ever wanted was a quiet life, some time off, maybe a pet dog back on Earth. But now, his blood was filled with alien serum. His body was changing, and Mira was the only one who knew. What about your people? He asked. Won't they find out? Well, if you slip, if you use your strength or show signs in public, they will scan you, and they'll trace it back to me. Darren stood and walked to the window. Outside, the stars blinked in silence. The red glow of the nearby sun lit up the edges of the station. I don't want to hurt anyone, he said. You won't, Mira replied. Unless they try to take you. He turned. That's not very comforting. She gave a small smile. I'll run more tests. Quietly. We can meet in Lab 3 at night. It's abandoned. Darren nodded slowly. Fine. But if I start glowing, or floating, I'm reporting myself. You won't glow, she said quickly. And floating isn't part of the plan either. They both laughed a little. It helped. Even for just a moment. Later that day, Darren walked through the lower hallways of the station. careful not to show anything unusual. He passed a few workers, both human and alien, but none looked at him twice. Then, in the power bay, something strange happened. A heavy panel slipped from a rack above. It fell toward another worker, a young man named Jiro. Darren didn't think. His body moved faster than his mind. In a flash, he stepped forward and caught the panel before it hit the ground door. Jiro. The metal was heavy, nearly 100 kilos. But to Darren, it felt like lifting a chair. Jiro stared at him. How did you? Darren quickly dropped the panel and forced a smile. Adrenaline, maybe. Jiro blinked, then laughed. You saved me, man. Thanks. No problem. Darren said, walking away fast. Inside, he was shaking. That wasn't normal. That wasn't human. He hurried back to his room and messaged Mira. Darren, I caught a 100-kilo panel. Without trying, someone saw it. Mira, you need to stop using your strength. It's growing faster than I expected. Meet me in Lab 3. Tonight, that evening, under the low lights of the empty lab. Mira scanned him again. Your cells are multiplying, she said. But not like cancer. They're organizing. Building something new. Darren sat still. Like what? I don't know yet, she admitted. But this isn't just about strength or memory. Something deeper is happening. Can you stop it? She shook her head. Maybe. But you're the first of your kind to survive the injection. If we stop now, we may lose a chance to learn everything. Darren looked down at his hands. I didn't choose this, he said softly. I know, Mira said. But you may be the only one who can finish what the ancients started. The station was quiet that night. Most crew members were asleep or off duty. Darren walked slowly through the lower corridors. Mira had told him to stay in his room. But something inside him was pulling like a quiet voice in the back of his mind. He passed storage rooms, broken lifts, and empty control stations. Each step felt natural, like he had walked this path before, even though he hadn't. The lights flickered as he reached the deep maintenance level. This area hadn't been used in years. The floor was dusty, panels hung loose from the walls. A large door stood at the end of the hallway, rusted and half-sealed. He didn't know why, but he walked toward it. The moment his hand touched the surface, something happened. The door lit up. Lines of soft white light spread across the metal. A low sound echoed from behind it like a heartbeat mixed with whispers. Darren stepped back, eyes wide, but the door opened on its own. With a slow hiss, inside was a dark chamber. At the center stood a large, ancient-looking machine. It didn't glow, it didn't hum. But the moment Darren stepped in, it turned on. The machine's surface lit up with symbols, alien ones, but somehow, Darren could read them. Welcome. Bonded one. He froze. More lights danced across the surface, showing images, old cities, stars. Creatures of light. A deep voice spoke, not out loud, but inside his head. You have awakened the core. You are not one of them, yet you carry the seed. You are accepted. Darren reached out without thinking. His fingers touched the smooth glass, and the machine pulsed once, like it was breathing. Behind him, a voice whispered, No, it can't be. It was Mira. She stood in the doorway, stunned. Her eyes were wide, her mouth slightly open. You found it, she said softly. Darren turned. What is this place? She walked slowly toward the machine, her hands trembling. This is the vault of the core. It's been locked since before my birth. My people believe it holds secrets from the ancients. It spoke to me. Mira blinked. Spoke, in my head. It called me the Bonded One. She looked at the machine again, then at him. That name, it's from the old records. There was once a being who could connect to ancient machines without needing translation or implants, the Bonded One. But it was always said the Bonded One would be one of us, not human. Darren looked at the glowing symbols. Why is it working for me, then? I don't know, Mira whispered. But I think your body is changing faster than I thought. This is more than a reaction to the formula. It's like you're unlocking something that was always hidden. The machine flashed again. A new message appeared. Do you accept the path of union? What does that mean? Darren asked. I don't know, Mira said. But it sounds like a choice, a bond. If you agree, it might change you forever. Darren stared at the message. He didn't ask for this. He didn't even want to be part of it. But now, something ancient was calling to him, asking him to decide. He reached out and touched the message. The machine pulsed again. The lights grew, brighter, filling the room with soft white glow. Darren felt something pass through his body warmth. Sound, memory. He could see things in his mind, planets he had never visited, languages he had never learned, emotions from lives not his own. He stepped back, gasping. What did it do? Mira asked. It gave me knowledge, he said. I don't know how, but I understand some of this now. He walked around the machine. There were panels, switches, control nodes. Before, they would have looked confusing. Now, he knew what they were for. This isn't just a memory device, he said. It's alive. It's waiting for something. Mira walked beside him. Waiting for you. They stared at the core. The soft whispers inside it had faded, but Darren could still feel its presence, like it was watching him. I think this place was meant for someone like me, he said. But you're human. Darren nodded. Maybe that's the point. Suddenly, the lights flickered again. This time, it wasn't from the machine. A soft alarm buzzed from Mira's wristband. Someone's coming, she said. We have to leave. Can we shut it down? No. But maybe we can hide it again. Darren looked at the machine. He reached forward and pressed his palm on the same spot. Sleep until called again, he said, not sure where the words came from. The lights dimmed. The symbols faded. The heartbeat stopped. Mira looked at him like she was seeing him for the first time. You spoke its language. I think I remembered it, he said. They left quickly, closing the door behind them. As soon as they stepped out into the hallway, the door went dark again, like nothing had happened. Back in his room, Darren sat quietly, breathing slowly. I don't know what's happening to me, he said. Mira nodded. You're becoming something else, but I don't think it's wrong. I think the ancients left this for someone like you. Why me? I don't know, but maybe humans were never outside the story. Maybe you were part of it from the start. Darren leaned back. The machine's voice still echoed in his mind. You are accepted. Whatever that meant. He knew one thing: he could never go back to being normal. Darren tried to stay calm the next day, but something felt different. Not just inside his body, outside too. People were watching. He walked through the food hall in the early hours of the morning. It was mostly empty. A few human workers sat at tables. Some alien researchers passed by without a word, but one figure stood near the entrance, pretending to study a wall screen. He wasn't wearing the usual uniform. His belt had a scanner. Darren kept walking. On his way to the repair bay, he saw another one, same belt, same fake smile. These weren't scientists or engineers. They were security. He fixed a power unit in Section B. Then met Mira in the dark hallway near Lab 3. They've noticed something, he said. Mira's face was tense. I saw them too. I think someone detected energy spikes near the core vault. We turned it off. Not well enough. Those old machines weren't built to be silent. And the security systems still track old circuits, even if no one talks about them. Darren leaned against the wall. So what now? We need to stay quiet. Don't show anything strange. No fast movements. No perfect memory in front of others. He nodded. But that won't stop them forever, she added. If they scan you, they'll see it in your blood. Darren looked down at his hands. They felt like his, but stronger, quicker. His skin looked the same, but his nerves felt sharper. They know something's off. Yes, she said. But they don't know everything. Not yet. They returned to their duties, acting normal. Darren worked on cooling units, lighting circuits, and old systems no one cared about. He followed orders. He smiled when spoken to. He looked tired even when he wasn't. But the watchers kept coming. By the third day, he saw one near his room. The guard said nothing, only nodded and walked away when Darren entered. He messaged Mira again. Darren, they were outside my door today. Mira, stay inside after dark. I'll come to you. That night, Mira arrived quietly with a small scanner in her hand. May I? She asked. Darren sat on his bed. She scanned his chest, his arms, his head. Your body is stabilizing, she said. The energy readings are strong but balanced. The core machine must have helped you finish the bonding process. Then why do I still feel like something's changing? Because it is, she replied. Your mind is unlocking memories. From the machine, your body is adapting to its language. You're becoming something between human and ancient, not informed, just in connection. Darren didn't know what to say. Mira looked at him. There's something else. What? I think one of the head scientists suspects me. He's been looking at my access logs. You're in danger to now. She nodded. Yes, but I won't leave you. A silence passed between them. Suddenly, her scanner beeped. She frowned. Someone just passed through the hallway. They're not showing on the public records. No ID tag. Darren stood. They're coming here. He moved to the door. Soft footsteps echoed outside. A small shadow appeared under the door light. Then the door chimed. Darren didn't answer. Again, the chime. Then a voice. Technician Darren, this is Senior Officer Hollick. May we speak with you? Mira whispered. He's one of the council's eyes. Darren stepped back from the door. Why would he come to me? He wants to confirm what they've been hearing. Mira said, they think you touched something they don't control. Darren turned to her. Should I open it? No, she said. Not yet. But the door opened on its own. A tall alien figure stepped inside. Gray robe, long face, quiet eyes. Behind him were two quiet guards. Hollick smiled. Don't worry. We're not here to harm. Just to observe. Mira stood between them and Darren. This is private space. You can't enter without a reason. Hollick nodded. You're right. Researcher Mira. But there have been unusual readings, and Darren was seen near sealed areas. It raised concern. Darren spoke carefully. I was following a repair signal. It led me to an old section. I didn't open anything. Hollick tilted his head. Strange. The logs show no repair task assigned that day. Mira answered. It was a system error. I sent him there. I needed help. Hollick looked at her, then back at Darren. Have you experienced any changes in your health? No. Darren lied. Any strange dreams? No. Hollick smiled again, thin and sharp. If anything happens, you must report it. We only want to keep peace. They left as quietly as they came. When the door closed, Mira sat down. They're testing us, I know, Darren said, and they don't believe a word I said. We need to hide the truth better. The core machine is still active. Even in sleep mode, it connects to you. Darren felt it too. The soft whispers had never really stopped, somewhere in the back of his mind. The machine was always speaking, always watching. What if they find the vault? They won't, she said. It's coded to your presence now. No one else can open it. But for how long? Mira didn't answer. That night, Darren didn't sleep. He sat by the window, staring out at the red glow of the star. He felt the weight of something bigger than himself. He wasn't just hiding a secret anymore. He was becoming the secret, and someone out there wanted to erase it. Darren packed only the things he truly needed: his toolkit, his ID card, and the small data disk Mira gave him. The rest didn't matter anymore. Mira stood by the door, looking worried. They know too much now, she said. We can't stay here. Where do we go? Darren asked. There's an old tunnel under the station. It connects to the lower ring's abandoned cargo zones. If we stay low, we can reach the core vault without being seen. Darren nodded. Let's go. They left his room in silence. The hallway was dim. Security drones buzzed in the distance. Mira moved quickly, scanning the walls for motion sensors. She had already turned off the station's camera logs in their area, but it wouldn't last long. They entered a maintenance hatch behind the water. Filtration unit. Mira typed a code into a rusty control pad. A panel slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a narrow tunnel with old rails and dust-covered lights. This path was used 50 years ago, she said, for heavy cargo transfer. No one goes here now. Darren ducked and followed her through. The tunnel was dark and cold. Pipes ran along the ceiling. Small drips echoed around them. The air smelled of old metal and oil. How long until they noticed we're gone? He asked. Maybe 20 minutes, she replied. That's all we have. They moved fast. Darren's steps were silent. his eyes adjusting to the dark without trouble. Ever since the core had touched his mind, his senses had become sharper. He could feel the walls, hear tiny vibrations, even sense heat through the floor. He looked at Mira. They'll follow us, yes, but if we reach the core vault, we can activate the next level. That's what the ancients built. It may give us protection, or it may wake up something worse. He said. She glanced back. Are you afraid? Yes, Darren replied. But I'm still going. They turned left through a narrow side tunnel, then climbed down an old ladder into the lower ring. Here, everything was silent. Broken lights hung from the ceiling. Crates were stacked in corners, covered with thick gray dust. Suddenly, Mira stopped. Wait. She whispered. Darren heard it too. Footsteps, soft, careful, coming from behind. Mira pulled him into a dark corner between two crates. They held their breath. Two security officers walked past. Their boots made faint taps on the metal floor. They didn't speak. One held a motion scanner. The other kept his hand on his sidearm. They're tracking us, Mira whispered. Darren looked at the crates. These are metal containers. If we move while they turn the corner, we can stay behind cover. She nodded. The two officers turned down the far hallway. Now Darren and Mira moved fast but quietly, staying behind the crates. They reached the far end of the room and entered another maintenance shaft. Once inside, Mira sealed it behind them. We lost them, she said, breathing fast. For now, Darren looked down the shaft. It led deeper into the structure. The walls here were lined with ancient symbols, some of which he could now read. This is part of the ancient path, he said. You can read that? Yes. The core machine unlocked it in my mind. Mira stared at the symbols. My people have studied those for years, and you read them after just one touch? It's like remembering something I never lived. They continued down the path. As they moved deeper, the air grew warmer. The walls glowed faintly with soft blue light. The symbols changed, growing larger, more complex. Finally, they reached a circular door. This is the core vault, Mira said. Darren stepped forward. The moment his hand touched the door, it opened. No sound, no code, just his touch. Inside was the main chamber. It was quiet, with a low light shining from the ceiling. In the center stood the core machine, tall, smooth, and alive. The same one from before. Its surface pulsed softly as they entered. Darren approached it. Welcome again. Bonded one, the machine said in his mind. He looked back at Mira. It's waiting. She nodded. Then begin. Wake it up. Darren placed his palm on the center panel. Lights flowed across the floor, spreading in a wide circle. The chamber came alive. Symbols on the walls glowed. Data lines ran up the pillars. The floor shifted slightly, revealing a second layer beneath. Round, glowing discs arranged like a star map. Do you seek access to the next level? The machine asked. Yes, Darren said. Then offer your memory. Offer your will. Darren closed his eyes. Suddenly, wave of light ran through his body. He saw flashes, memories that were not his, giant cities, tall beings of light, a world breaking apart, then a plan, a project to build something new, something stronger, a connection between worlds. Then it was quiet. He opened his eyes. The core now showed a floating image, an orb surrounded by rings. In the center, a small mark blinked. That's the station, Darren said. But look, there are others. Mira stared at the image. There are more vaults spread across the stars, and they're all asleep. Darren said, except you. Just then, the warning lights blinked on Mira's scanner. They found us. She said, they're moving toward this section. Darren turned to the machine. Can it protect us? The machine replied. Only if you accept the role fully. You must not run. You must rise. He looked at Mira. If I accept this, there's no going back. I know. She said, but you were never meant to go back. Darren stepped into the center of the glowing discs. Bond confirmed, the machine said. Identity locked. Commands unlocked. The door behind them sealed with a loud hiss outside. The guards reached the corridor, but the path was gone. The wall had returned to normal. No scanner worked. No code opened the door. Inside, Darren stood taller. I'm not just a mistake anymore, he said. I'm the key. Darren stood in the glowing chamber, feeling the power of the core machine surround him like a soft light. The room was quiet, but inside his mind, a storm was growing. Questions and memories that were not as filled as thoughts. Mira watched him closely. You're doing well. The core is connecting with you. Connecting. But why me? Darren asked, his voice low. You're the only human who could survive the injection and bond with the core, she said. Your body accepted the ancient formula. That means you have a link to the ancients. Darren shook his head. I don't understand. What are the ancients? Mira stepped closer. Long ago, before any of us lived, a powerful race known as the ancients built these stations and machines. They were meant to protect knowledge and power from falling into the wrong hands. Darren looked at the glowing orb in front of him. And now I'm part of their plan? Yes. Mira said softly. The ancients wanted someone to awaken the core and unlock the secrets hidden in these vaults. They never expected that person to be human. Why did they choose me? Or maybe, why did I survive the injection? Mira sighed. There's a legend. It says that when the universe faces great danger, a bonded one will appear, someone who can unite different worlds and carry the ancient's will. You are that person. Darren felt a weight settle on his shoulders. He had never wanted to be special. He had wanted a simple life. But what kind of danger? He asked. Mira's eyes darkened. There are forces beyond this station, threats, that want to control the vaults and the power inside. If they succeed, it could mean the end of many worlds. Darren looked down at his hands. They still felt stronger. But now he knew why. The core is more than a machine, Mira continued. It is a guardian, and you are its key. Suddenly, the chamber's lights dimmed. A new voice echoed in Darren's mind. Warning, external presence detected. Mira's scanner beeped urgently. They found us again, she said. The councils. Enforcers are close. Darren clenched his fists. We have to move. Where now? The vault has a hidden exit, Mira explained. It leads to a secret shuttle bay beneath the station. If we reach it, we can escape and find help. Darren nodded. Then let's go. They left the glowing chamber, passing through winding tunnels. The air grew colder as they moved deeper into the station. The walls were covered with more symbols, glowing faintly. Suddenly, a loud alarm sounded throughout the station. They triggered the alert, Mira said. We must hurry. Darren's heart pounded as they reached a large door marked with a symbol he now understood. Mira placed her hand on it, and the door slid open silently. Inside was a small shuttle, old but still intact. Mira rushed to the controls. I hope this still works, she said. Darren helped her strap in as the alarm echoed louder. Outside, footsteps and voices approached. Mira started the engines. The shuttle hummed softly. Hold on, she said. The door closed behind them, sealing the chamber. The shuttle rose quickly through the dark shafts. Moving toward the outer ring. Darren looked out the small window. The station's lights faded behind them, swallowed by the starry space. What now? He asked. We find allies, Mira answered. There are others who believe in the Ancients' mission. We need their help to protect the vaults. Darren sighed. I never wanted this, but I won't run. Mira smiled. You're stronger than you think. The shuttle moved silently through space, carrying two unlikely friends into the unknown. The shuttle glided silently through the vast darkness of space. Darren sat beside Mira, watching distant stars shine like tiny fires. The weight of everything they had been through pressed on him. But he also felt a strange calm. We can go back, Darren said softly. Not to the station, not to the life I had. Mira nodded. It's a new beginning for both of us. The core machine's power inside Darren still hummed quietly in his veins. It had changed him, connected him to something ancient and powerful. But he was still human, still himself. The shuttle reached a small space outpost floating near a blue-green planet. Mira called it the Haven. It was a place where others like them could gather, those who believed in protecting the knowledge of the ancients. They landed smoothly and entered the outpost's main hall. A group of people waited, different species, all quiet but curious. One of them stepped forward. She was tall, with soft silver skin and eyes that glowed faintly. Her name was Lyra. "Welcome," she said kindly. "We have heard about your journey. The Corps has chosen you. That means the time has come." Darren felt a shiver run down his spine. "Chosen for what?" "To protect the vaults from those who want to control them," Lyra explained. "There are dark forces gathering forces that would use the Ancients' power for destruction." Mira stepped forward. "We escaped the Council's enforcers. They want to capture the Corps, but we have the bond now." Lyra smiled. "Then you are not alone anymore." Over the next days, Darren learned much. The Haven was a place of peace and knowledge. Its members trained in ancient arts and used technology far beyond normal understanding. Darren struggled at first. His body was stronger now, his mind faster, but he had no training. He was just a technician who fixed broken machines. One evening, Lyra took him to a large room filled with light. "This is the training hall," she said. "Here, you will learn to control the Corps' power." Darren nodded. "I want to help, but I don't know if I'm ready." "Everyone starts like that," Lyra smiled. "But the bond will guide you." Days turned into weeks. Darren practiced every day, learning to use his new abilities. He could now sense energy fields, heal small wounds, and even communicate with the Corps across distances. Mira stayed by his side, helping and encouraging him. One night, while training alone, Darren felt a sudden rush of images in his mind. A star system far away, under attack by unknown ships, a planet burning, voices calling for help. He gasped. Mira entered the room. "What is it?" "The Corps showed me a warning. There's danger. We need to act." Lyra joined them. "It is true. The dark forces are moving faster than we thought." A plan was made. Darren would travel with a small team to the planet in danger. They would use the Corps' power to protect it and stop the attackers. The night before the mission, Darren stood by the window, looking at the stars. "I'm scared," he admitted to Mira. "You're stronger than you believe," she said softly. "Remember, you are not alone." The next day, the team boarded a fast ship. Darren's heart pounded as they jumped into hyperspace. When they arrived, the planet was under siege. Ships flew across the sky, firing bright beams of energy. Darren stepped forward. Feeling the Corps' power surge in him, he raised his hands, and a shield of light appeared, blocking the enemy's attacks. The battle was fierce, but Darren and his team fought bravely. Using the Corps' gifts, they turned the tide. When the last enemy ship fled, the planet's people cheered. Darren smiled. For the first time, he felt like he belonged. Back on the Haven, he looked at Mira and Lyra. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Yes," Lyra replied. "The universe needs guardians like you." Darren took a deep breath. He was no longer just a technician with a wrong injection. He was the bonded one, the protector of ancient secrets, the hope for many worlds. And his new life had just begun.